Before start the video, I want to tell you about my Discord server. It's a fun place where Ninjago fans gather and chat. We have many special games and events, so don't forget to join, link is in the description. Hello friends, welcome back to another video. So this video has been a long time coming. I'm going to compare Masters of Spinjitzu to New Ninjago. For the sake of this video, we'll refer to the past through March of the Oni as Masters of Spinjitzu and Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu through Seabound as New Ninjago. Officially, they are two separate TV shows, so I'm going to compare both of these shows. I'll go through 6 main points and see which show will receive the most amount of points. The 6 main points are main characters, side characters and villains, animation, soundtracks, writing, reception and popularity. So let's get started. Let's start with the 6 main ninja. In Masters of Spinjitzu, none of the ninja was bad or annoying. They were all very significant and had pretty good roles and personalities. Each ninja has a lot to their character, a lot more than just the hot-headed or funny one. They are real 3-dimensional characters. They feel like real people and you can feel connected to them. But that's not the case with New Ninjago. Each one of them is just playing one role. This is the funny one and this is the serious one, etc. I also really hate Kai and Jay in New Ninjago. They are really annoying. Zen is boring, but the other 3 are decent, so I'll have to easily give this point to Masters of Spinjitzu. There isn't even a competition. Another thing is that the ninja are getting too repetitive and we really need to see something new from the show, not just the same thing over and over. Even their arcs aren't as interesting anymore and they are just getting repeated. And the same can be said about their personalities. They aren't as realistic or complex anymore. 1 point for Masters of Spinjitzu. For the villains and side characters, it's pretty much the same thing as the ninja. They aren't as complex anymore. I actually like how the new Ninjago villains have very different and unique motives and not a repetition of older villains. Some want money and some want to meet their creator, but that's the thing with new Ninjago. Even when it brings good ideas, most of the time they aren't executed well enough. Such as with Onagami, we barely see him during Prime Empire, so there is no way you'll feel anything towards him. And villains like Skull, Sorcerer or Sphera, you really don't care about them and just see them as these random villains who will eventually get defeated. But that's not the case with Masters of Spinjitzu. You really understand and feel connected to these villains and might even feel sad for them because you spend a lot of time with them during the season and the writing delivers the needed emotions to you. Who didn't feel at least a little bit emotional when Mora died? So the better writing and the more time you spend with the Masters of Spinjitzu villains will easily give this point to that show. And the same thing can be said about the side characters as well. This is probably the most controversial point of them all. I don't hate the animation for New Ninjago, but I'm the kind of viewer that prefers a more realistic approach, especially in animation. Masters of Spinjitzu animation improved over the years and the same can be said about New Ninjago's. In terms of visuals, Masters of Spinjitzu is miles better. You have countless shots and scenes that look so beautiful to the point that you feel that it's taken from a live action movie, whilst impossible to have that with New Ninjago's animation. The face expressions are a lot more childish, and I'd say that New Ninjago's animation is more kid-friendly and more appealing to children, while Masters of Spinjitzu is trying to be more realistic and appealing for older viewers. The only thing that the new animation might be better at is the fight scenes. I don't like the stretchy weapons and limbs though. But even with that, it's not enough to make it better because the visuals, face expressions, movements, lightings and locations are better in Masters of Spinjitzu. This is the only thing we are talking about in this video that has been made by the same people in both shows. The soundtracks for Ninjago were always fantastic, even for Skybound with only one soundtrack. But the ideas of the season actually affect the quality of its soundtracks. If there isn't enough fitting concepts or scenes, then there won't be many good soundtracks. For example, you have Rooftop Rough House. Do you think that Star Trunk would have been as good as it is if the original scene itself in Season 4 wasn't as amazing as it is? Of course not. That's why the best seasons usually have the best soundtracks, such as Seasons 4, 5, 8, 9, etc. Season 11, 14 and 15 barely have any memorable or outstanding soundtracks. They are on the same level of Seasons 1 and 2, which are the worst season of Masters of Spinjitzu in that aspect. Prime Empires are by far the best in New Ninjago, and Season 13s are pretty good too. Zane's Sacrifice, Lord's Flashback, Needs True Potential, the Smith family, Cole unlocking his RX powers, Purim is the Quiet One, Firstborn, Cole's Fall, and countless more, but we'll obviously have to go with Masters of Spinjitzu here. Writing will include the plot and ideas of the seasons, the creativity, the dialogue, the humor and everything like that. I think we can all agree that the humor in Ninjago is a lot more childish. Season 11 was Ninjago's most childish season. The ideas and concepts for Ninjago are always good, but in New Ninjago they are copying Masters of Spinjitzu to a ridiculous degree, such as with Zane getting damaged, the main artifact being shockingly powerless, villains wanting to resurrect an ancient serpent, and many more things that make New Ninjago feel kinda repetitive. And that's the thing with a show that continues for this long. It It either needs a drastic change that will change the series as a whole, or it will get repetitive. The plot for Masters of Spinjitzu seasons are way better, with vital questions that makes you want to continue watching the season, such as who's the Green Ninja or who's the Quiet One. But New Ninjago did that only twice, and it was really weak in both cases. Everybody knew that Zane is the Ice Emperor, and even before we got the trailers for the season, and Vangelis being the Skull Sorcerer was weak. The writing for New Ninjago improved in season 13 with the Venge Stone Bar thing, but still I'm giving this part to Masters of Spinjitzu. And now finally to the last point. Which of the two shows is more popular and receives more praise by the community? I made a poll regarding this topic and you can see the results on the screen right now. But even when you compare the views for both shows, it's pretty much a no-brainer to guess which one is more successful. At its prime, Masters of Spinjitzu get around 2 million views per episode, but New Ninjago's prime is around 300,000 views per episode. You can see the crazy difference there. Not to mention the views for the trailers and the fall songs. The only quote-unquote hated seasons of Masters of Spinjitzu in my point of view are Day of the Departed and Season 7, while New Ninjago is half the length of Masters of Spinjitzu, and it already has 2 hated seasons as well, which are seasons 11 and 14. Not to mention how a lot of people think that the show should have ended with season 10, so yeah, I think that Masters of Spinjitzu deserves this point. And that's all for today's video, 6-0 points with Masters of Spinjitzu being our absolute winner today. I actually prefer Masters of Spinjitzu a lot more than New Ninjago as well. New Ninjago isn't necessarily bad, but it honestly has a lot to learn and change in order to be a true successor for Masters of Spinjitzu, because what we are getting now is just a worse and repetitive version for Masters of Spinjitzu in my opinion. Also, please don't accuse me of being a new Ninjago hater and that I should leave the show and all of that. I'm just expressing my opinion and saying what I think is right, and many of my Ninjago friends actually agree with what I'm saying. I still love Ninjago and I will watch it until the end, but I believe that New Ninjago should be a lot more different than what it is. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to tell me in the comments what you think of today's video, and do you prefer Masters of Spinjitzu or New Ninjago? So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you next time.